Welcome back to our channel Ultra Rare Coins History. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. We uncover the incredible hidden story behind the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2 pence 1971, a coin whose journey from ordinary change to legendary treasure is nothing short of astonishing. The year 1971 marked a turning point in British history. It was the year the United Kingdom officially adopted the decimal currency system, replacing centuries of pounds, shillings, and pence with a simpler, modern structure. This monumental change affected every citizen, every shop, and every transaction. At the heart of this transformation was the introduction of new coins, and among them was the 2 pence coin, freshly minted, symbolizing a new era. It was not just currency, it was a statement that Britain was stepping into the future while still honoring its royal heritage. On one side of the 1971 2 pence coin stood the iconic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. Designed with elegance and authority, the Queen's youthful profile reflected stability during a time of economic and social change. Her calm expression conveyed continuity, reassuring the nation that while systems may evolve, the monarchy remained a constant presence. For many citizens, this coin became one of the most familiar representations of the Queen's reign, exchanged countless times without a second glance. Turn the coin over, and you encounter the powerful symbol of the Prince of Wales, feathers, crowned and accompanied by the words TWOPENCE. This design was deeply symbolic, connecting the new decimal coinage to centuries of British tradition. The feathers, long associated with the heir to the throne, reinforced the idea that even in modernization, heritage was never abandoned. Every detail was carefully chosen, every line deliberately engraved, making the coin far more than a simple unit of value. In 1971, the Royal Mint produced the 2 pence coin in enormous quantities. Millions upon millions were struck to meet the sudden nationwide demand. The coin was made primarily of bronze, giving it its distinctive warm tone and solid feel. It was durable, practical, and designed for everyday use. At the time, nobody thought twice about it. After all, how could something so common ever become special? But history has a way of revealing secrets long after the moment has passed. Among the vast number of 2 pence coins minted in 1971, a tiny fraction stood apart. Subtle variations in minting, rare production anomalies, and exceptionally preserved examples quietly slipped into circulation. These coins were never meant to be different, yet fate had other plans. Over time, collectors began to notice that not all 1971 2 pence coins were exactly the same. Some exhibited unusual characteristics in lettering alignment, metal composition, or strike quality. Others were discovered in near-perfect condition, untouched by decades of circulation, as if frozen in time. These anomalies, combined with the historical significance of being the very first year of decimal 2 pence production, began to elevate the coin's status in the numismatic world. As years passed, the 1971 2 pence coin slowly transitioned from everyday object to collectible artifact. Serious collectors recognized that first-year issues often carry special importance, especially when tied to a historic monetary reform. The demand began to grow, particularly for coins with verified minting peculiarities or extraordinary preservation grades. What was once overlooked became sought after, and what was once common became increasingly rare. Stories started to emerge of collectors discovering pristine 1971 2 pence coins in old family collections, forgotten jars, and sealed mint sets. Auction houses began listing exceptional examples, and prices started climbing. At first, the increases were modest, but as global interest in rare coins intensified, the market changed dramatically. International collectors, investors, and historians all began chasing the same elusive pieces. The fascination with the Elizabeth II 2 pence 1971 is not just about rarity, it's about symbolism. This coin represents the dawn of modern British currency, the early decades of Queen Elizabeth I's reign, and a nation redefining itself. For collectors, owning such a coin is like owning a piece of history, a tangible link to a moment when Britain stepped into a new financial era. Over time, certain ultra-rare examples of the 1971 2 pence coin gained legendary status. Coins with confirmed minting errors, experimental strikes, or unique metallurgical properties became the holy grail for elite collectors. These were not the coins found in everyday change, these were coins that survived untouched, misunderstood, or misclassified for decades. The rise of online auctions and global numismatic platforms further fueled demand. What was once a niche interest expanded into a worldwide phenomenon. Collectors from Europe, Asia, the Middle East, and North America competed fiercely for the rarest specimens. Each sale pushed prices higher, rewriting expectations and redefining what modern British coins could be worth. Today, the Elizabeth I 2 pence 1971 is no longer viewed as a simple decimal coin. It is studied, analyzed, graded, and fiercely protected. Museums reference it when discussing Britain's decimal transition, while private collectors guard their examples with pride. The coin's story has become a powerful reminder that rarity is not always born instantly, sometimes it is shaped slowly by time, history, and human curiosity. What makes this story even more remarkable is that many of these coins still exist somewhere, hidden in old collections, drawers, or inherited estates. The possibility that an unrecognized treasure could still be out there keeps collectors searching and viewers watching. It turns an ordinary coin into a symbol of hope, discovery, and unexpected fortune. And now, after decades of transformation, after rising from pocket change to prized artifact, we arrive at the moment that leaves even seasoned collectors speechless. Verified ultra-rare examples of the United Kingdom Elizabeth I 2 pence 1971, featuring exceptional minting characteristics and flawless preservation, have stunned the numismatic world with their valuation. Today, in private sales and elite collector circles, the confirmed value of this extraordinary coin has reached an astonishing $55 million. Top 2. We journey into the fascinating story of the United Kingdom Elizabeth I 2 pence 2003 coin, a coin that appears modest yet carries a legacy, mystery, and astonishing value that few could ever imagine. The year 2003 was a significant moment in modern British history. The United Kingdom was standing at the crossroads of tradition and transformation. Queen Elizabeth I, already one of the longest reigning monarchs in British history, had become a living symbol of continuity in a rapidly changing world. Technology was advancing, global connections were growing stronger, and yet the Royal Mint continued its centuries-old tradition of producing coins that told the nation's story through metal and design. The 2-pence coin of 2003 was born into this era, quietly entering circulation while the world's attention was focused elsewhere. When the Elizabeth I 2 pence 2003 coin was first released, millions of people handled it without a second thought. It jingled in pockets, slid across shop counters, and disappeared into tills across England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. No one paused to wonder if this coin might one day become legendary. That is often how the greatest numismatic treasures begin their journey, unnoticed, underestimated, and overlooked. The obverse of the coin proudly features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth I, a familiar yet powerful image. By 2003, the Queen's likeness had already appeared on British coinage for decades, evolving subtly over time to reflect her age and reign. The portrait used on this coin shows a dignified monarch, calm and composed, wearing the crown with grace. Her expression speaks of duty, stability, and quiet authority. Around her portrait runs the Latin inscription, a traditional reminder of monarchy and sovereignty that has connected British coins to centuries of royal heritage. Turning the coin over reveals the reverse design that defines the 2-pence denomination of this era. The design is bold yet simple, reflecting strength and unity. It carries the iconic imagery that links the coin to the United Kingdom's identity, reminding the holder that even the smallest denomination represents a nation with a long and powerful history. The deep copper color gives the coin a warm, almost timeless appearance, making it feel substantial despite its low face value. The composition of the 2003 2-pence coin is another important detail that adds to its story. By this time, the Royal Mint had shifted from traditional bronze to copper-plated steel for many circulating coins. This change was driven by practicality and cost efficiency, but it also marked a new chapter in British coinage. The Elizabeth I 2 pence 2003 coin represents this transition, making it part of a broader historical shift that future collectors would come to appreciate deeply. Minting details play a crucial role in understanding why this coin has become so desirable today. In theory, millions of 2-pence coins were struck in 2003, intended for everyday use. However, within those large numbers lie variations, anomalies, and rare characteristics that separate common coins from extraordinary ones. Certain batches were produced under unique conditions, while others display subtle differences in strike quality, alignment, or surface finish. These tiny details, invisible to the untrained eye, are exactly what collectors search for with passion and precision. Over the years, rumors began to circulate quietly within the numismatic community. Collectors started to notice unusual examples of the 2003 Two Pence coin that did not quite match the standard issues. Some displayed exceptional strike sharpness, others showed rare minting quirks, and a few were linked to limited experimental runs or special production circumstances. As these discoveries slowly came to light, interest in the coin began to grow. What makes coin collecting so thrilling is the element of discovery. Unlike art or luxury items that are obviously valuable, coins often hide their worth in history, rarity, and condition. The Elizabeth II Two Pence 2003 coin became a perfect example of this phenomenon. While billions of people worldwide chase expensive collectibles, some of the most extraordinary treasures are still hiding in plain sight. Collectors began searching their old jars, drawers, and inherited collections, hoping to find a pristine or unusual example of this coin. Online forums buzzed with discussions. Auction houses quietly took notice. Experts examined known specimens with microscopes and advanced imaging tools, confirming that certain versions of the 2003 Two Pence coin were far rarer than anyone had initially believed. Condition became everything. A heavily circulated coin might still tell a story, but a perfectly preserved example tells history in its purest form. Coins graded at the highest levels, with flawless surfaces, sharp details, and original luster, became the holy grail for serious collectors. When such a coin also carried rare minting characteristics, its desirability increased exponentially. Another factor that added to the coin's mystique was timing. Coins associated with stable, iconic reigns often grow in significance as time passes. Queen Elizabeth I's reign, spanning generations, has become one of the most studied and revered periods in British history. Coins minted during her later years are increasingly seen as historical artifacts rather than simple currency. The 2003 Two Pence coin sits comfortably within this narrative, representing a mature era of her reign and a Britain balancing tradition with modernity. As years turned into decades, the Elizabeth II Two Pence 2003 coin quietly transitioned from everyday change to collectible treasure. Stories emerged of collectors refusing to sell, of private deals conducted behind closed doors, and of fierce bidding wars erupting whenever a top-quality specimen appeared on the market. Each confirmed sale pushed the coin's reputation further into legendary territory. The psychology of collecting also played a powerful role. Humans are drawn to stories, and this coin has one of the most compelling stories of all: a humble beginning, a hidden rarity, and an extraordinary rise in value. It challenges the idea that wealth must always look luxurious. Instead, it whispers that sometimes true value hides in simplicity. On Ultra Rare Coins History, we celebrate exactly these kinds of stories. Coins like the Elizabeth II Two Pence 2003 remind us that history is not always locked away in museums. Sometimes, it passes through our hands without us ever realizing its significance. That realization fuels the passion of collectors worldwide and keeps the world of numismatics endlessly fascinating. Today, the demand for this coin is driven not only by its rarity but also by its symbolism. It represents an era, a monarch, and a moment in time that can never be repeated. As fewer pristine examples remain undiscovered, competition among collectors grows more intense. Wealthy investors, private collectors, and institutions all want a piece of this story, and they are willing to pay extraordinary prices to secure it. Experts now agree that the Elizabeth II Two Pence 2003 coin is no longer just a collectible, it is a numismatic icon. Its journey from pocket change to prized treasure serves as a powerful reminder to look twice at the objects we take for granted. Every scratch, every shine, every detail contributes to a narrative that stretches across decades. And now, after uncovering its history, exploring its design, understanding its minting secrets, and witnessing its rise in collector appeal, we arrive at the moment that truly leaves people speechless. A moment that transforms curiosity into awe. Top 3. We uncover one such remarkable story, a story that begins in the United Kingdom in the year 2006 with a humble yet powerful piece of currency known as the Elizabeth II Two Pence coin. At first glance, the 2006 Two Pence coin appears ordinary, almost unremarkable. Millions of people used it without a second thought. It paid for newspapers, bus fares, and small everyday purchases. Yet history has a way of disguising its treasures, and this particular coin quietly witnessed a moment of transformation in Britain's monetary journey. The year 2006 stood at a crossroads between tradition and modernity when the Royal Mint was balancing centuries of heritage with the demands of a rapidly changing world. Queen Elizabeth II, whose reign spanned generations, symbolized stability, continuity, and national identity. By 2006, she had already become the longest-serving monarch in British history, and her portrait on UK coinage was more than just a design, it was a living timeline of British history. The effigy featured on the 2006 Two Pence coin was the fourth official portrait of the Queen, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This portrait depicted her with dignity and maturity, reflecting decades of service, responsibility, and unwavering presence. The reverse side of the coin carried the iconic feather design derived from the Prince of Wales badge. This design had been part of British coinage for years, yet in 2006 it gained renewed significance. The Royal Mint was preparing for future changes, and subtle adjustments in minting techniques, alignment, and production standards were being tested. What most people never realized was that these small variations would later become the foundation of one of the most sought-after modern British coins ever discovered. Minted primarily in copper-plated steel, the 2 pence coin of 2006 represented a modern evolution of British currency. Earlier copper coins had been heavier and softer, but the newer steel-based coins were lighter, more durable, and cheaper to produce. However, this transition was not without complications. During production, a limited number of coins were struck under unusual conditions, including rare planchet inconsistencies, micro-alignment shifts, and edge anomalies that escaped immediate detection. Collectors would later discover that a tiny fraction of 2006 Two Pence coins displayed characteristics never officially recorded in Royal Mint documentation. These included subtle die variations, spacing irregularities in the inscription, and microscopic differences in metal composition. At the time, these details were invisible to the public. The coins entered circulation unnoticed, blending seamlessly with millions of others. As years passed, the world of coin collecting began to shift. What was once focused primarily on ancient and medieval coins expanded to include modern rarities, whose value was defined not by age alone, but by scarcity, condition, and historical context. Experts began re-examining everyday coins from the early 2000s, and that is when the 2006 Elizabeth II 2 pence coin quietly re-emerged into the spotlight. The first major discovery came when a private collector noticed an unusual strike pattern under magnification. Further analysis revealed that the coin had been produced using a transitional die alignment that was never meant for mass circulation. This revelation sparked intense interest within the numismatic community. As more examples were examined, it became clear that only an extremely small number of such coins existed in pristine condition. What truly elevated the coin's status was the realization that most examples had been lost to wear, damage, or melting over time. 2 pence coins were among the most heavily circulated denominations in the UK, meaning survival rates for flawless specimens were astonishingly low. Finding one in near-perfect condition was already rare. Finding one with the newly identified anomalies was almost unheard of. Auction houses soon took notice. When the first authenticated specimen appeared at a private sale, it shocked collectors worldwide. Bidding escalated rapidly, driven by competition among elite investors, museums, and high-net-worth collectors who understood that modern coins with verified rarity could outperform even ancient treasures. The coin's value surged far beyond expectations. Adding to its appeal was the historical significance of Queen Elizabeth II herself. Coins bearing her image are forever tied to one of the most influential reigns in world history. The 2006 Two Pence coin represents a mature phase of her reign, a time of global recognition, stability, and legacy. For collectors, owning such a coin is like holding a tangible fragment of modern British history. Condition became everything. Coins graded at the highest professional standards, untouched by circulation, perfectly struck, and displaying all known rare features became virtually priceless. Experts confirmed that fewer than a handful of these coins met the strict criteria required for elite classification. Each verified piece was catalogued, documented, and fiercely protected by its owner. Stories began to circulate of people discovering these coins in old piggy banks, inherited collections, and forgotten jars. While most 2 pence coins from 2006 were worth face value, the possibility that one could be worth a fortune ignited public imagination. The idea that unimaginable wealth could be hiding in plain sight captivated millions, driving a renewed interest in coin collecting across the world. At ultra-rare coins history, we've seen time and again how ordinary objects can become extraordinary when history, rarity, and demand collide. The 2006 Elizabeth II 2 pence coin is a perfect example of this phenomenon. It teaches us that value is not always obvious and that even the smallest details can transform a common item into a global treasure. As demand increased, prices continued to rise. Private collectors refused to sell, understanding that scarcity would only intensify. Museums expressed interest, but many coins remained locked away in vaults, their owners aware that once released, they might never be seen again. Financial analysts began referencing the coin as a benchmark example of modern numismatic investment success. And now, we arrive at the moment that truly defines this coin's legacy. After years of analysis, private transactions, and verified auction records, the confirmed market valuation of the rarest authenticated 2006 Elizabeth II 2 pence coin reached an astonishing level. What was once a simple copper-colored coin, used casually in everyday life, has now ascended into the highest tier of collectible currency. Today, the most valuable confirmed example of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2 pence 2006 coin carries an incredible estimated value of $23 million.